Hello guys, can you hear me? My dad is doing fine. He had a heart surgery, but he recovered much quicker than the expectation. So yeah, I'm back now to my desks. I have a lot of things to approve. Oh, thank you so much, guys. Okay, so no, without wasting a lot of time, I think we have a lot of news. I think the marketing team is working to give the information to the public, to the media, while we are talking here. Switch off speaker. Okay, is the voice is not very clear? Okay, so looks like the voice is clear. Let me find out how I can do the screen share. Um, Wonderful. I understood, guys. It's clear. So I think I will not take more time and find out the option to do a screen share. Okay, so that will help us to stay focused. Let me see how to do it. Okay, screen share. I don't know if we have an option to do a screen share in YouTube. Does anyone know? Buddy Love, do you know that if we can share a screen? I never did it on YouTube. I know how to do on Zoom. I think that's why Zoom is more preferred. Yes, you have to live stream via. Okay, so we have to use a software. That's sad. Looks like we have to take first the exchange question because a lot of people are asking that first. Okay. But anyway, exchange listing is definitely one of the important topic, but it's not the only thing which makes the adoption possible, because if that was the case, none of the major coins have first worked on exchange listing and then worked on their product. So definitely listing on different exchanges and more exchanges is important. But more than that, what is important is that what we are building is really useful and really have an adoption or not. If there is adoption, the exchange, the user, the news, the marketing, everything makes sense. And if the product and is not complete, if the product is there is no launch of the product and everything, I think no exchange alone in the world can just make a coin work, because that's not how it works. Because if that was the case, first we had Binance and then maybe we had a Bitcoin or any other coins. So definitely I do understand the exchanges are important, but we also have to understand if the product is useful and the product is adopted by the community, by the audience, exchange will list that automatically. It's not that first we have to spend. And today, I don't want to say, but there's many exchanges, but you really don't know which exchange is good or which exchange is bad, and that's I leave certainly up to the community. Because as a regulated site, there is no exchange which can be really said that okay, everything is, because it's a gray area. And listing on exchanges require also a lot of things which is on the which is also on the the community support where which is required. So I would always prefer to first go on the product side, have the adoption. Given that we already have a lot of companies which we able to start working with us even when before launched our own product, that gives us a huge room to have our token work, a working model for our token, have the adoption before you start contacting the exchanges. So without taking much time, I cannot share my screen here. So what I do, I just take slide by slide so that I can stay in focus. I really wanted you guys to see the slides because everything which I wanted to speak, I put it here. Let me see if I can, if someone can upload and share that link. Okay, so let's go with this. Maybe I just take this screenshot. So I think before starting anything, let's start with this clear thing. I'm shit. No, okay. Oh, I cannot also share anything. So I just copy paste stuff from here. Guys, I think all these questions we're going to answer. You can keep posting your questions so I know which question is important and know when to take in the order. So I love that you guys are posting all these questions. So before anything, let's do this. I copy. So today's first announcement, to make it more faster and clear, that yes, we are launching our world's first global crypto-friendly banking platform on 2nd November 2020. And this platform is not only going live for UK, Europe, but in all the 50 states of United States. How we are doing it, we're going to talk about it, because it was not very easy for the team to launch one single banking platform in 3 different jurisdictions. If you take a look to any platform which is available, be it many, even the big banks, you don't have one platform where you can have a US dollar account domiciled in United States as well as a UK current account within the same platform. So yeah, it was something which is also challenging for us, and it took many different iterations before we able to reach to a state where we can start talking about these things. And definitely US is a major market, and when it comes to cryptocurrency, definitely I think US is one of the biggest market also for the crypto industry. So definitely we didn't want to lose that. Definitely what we will do after I think by the time we're going to finish this AMA, maybe all this information will be also available in the media. Definitely the team will also share the press release, the official press release, as well as the presentation which I am giving here. The purpose of this AMA was to first give the first information to the community before we announce this to the media and it goes to all over the news. So yeah, so how I would describe this is that I think that it's a defining moment also in the history of banking. Definitely, it's a very huge milestone for Cashaa, because now we are not talking about having just a license and how we're gonna go live, what systems we're gonna use, but now we are already live. And we're going to go in details that how and when the product is coming, but we have the fixed date when we are actually launching, and the initial customers will start using it. When it comes to the launch, definitely we have already made it live for the customers who are already using it. So I would like to finish all the speculation about are we going live or we don't going live with our own proprietary internet banking platform. The answer is that yes, we are going live. So definitely, because we were talking about bringing the service to multiple jurisdictions and all under the one platform, we have to go through multiple iteration. And especially when you talk about bringing US dollar, GBP, and Euro all in the same account, and we talk about these 3 currency, we don't want to just talk about these 3 currency. Having a 3 currency in UK is also very possible. But having a US dollar in the UK does not give you access to Fedwire or ACH system. You need to be plugged in with the Federal Reserve System to access these network. So what we are talking about, 3 banking infrastructure being used in the one product. It's not 3 currencies as you have in many different products where you see a product can give 20 different currencies. But this does not mean that 20 different currencies are actually 20 different local currencies. These are just the accounts which can hold those the national currency. So that's very, very different, and we have to understand this. And that's why this account becomes are very useful for not only for the companies who want US dollar account based in Singapore, but it's the account which could be used. It's basically the same account which you go and take from Signature, from Metropolitan, or any other bank in United States. So just going in detail how we are doing this. So our proprietary banking platform, as you know, that we started giving banking infrastructure, banking to our one of the first client, if I remember, was in August 2019. Why I remember this month? Because it's almost the same time when Barclays shut down Coinbase account. So it was all over the news. So it took us, more than 12 months now to when we are bringing the customers, we are talking with our partners. In those early days, we had the NMS, and we were talking with NMS and asking that we have done the due diligence on this company. The company is really very good. Even its deal in crypto, they have not done anything wrong. Can you allow us, this company, to have the access through your banking system so that they can do their day-to-day operations? By doing that, we have onboarded more than 200 cryptocurrencies companies in last 12, now 13 months. And what it did, that it definitely gave us a huge data so that we can go back to the banks, we can go to correspondent banks and regulator and say, hey, we have been watching these hundreds of companies from months and months, and we have not seen any money laundering activity. We have not seen any violations. So it's not fair just to judge an industry or the companies just based on some industry. Just because a platform or a company is dealing in cryptocurrency does not make them by default a money launderer. And doing this, and some of the big brands had supported us even in this kind of model. We had Paxful, one of the biggest P2P exchange. We had Nexo, which is one of the biggest lenders now in crypto industry. We had Indian platforms like CoinDCX, UnoCoin, which came and say it's fine as long as we trust in Cashaa. And if you are saying that if we can have access to the banking and in few months or in years you can have your own banking infrastructure, we want to start our relation. And that's how slowly but surely we start moving. And after we have all this data, finally we went back and we talked to the auditors, we talked to the regulators, and we say, now we have collected all of this data. Would you allow us to build our own system? Obviously, it was not easy for any regulator to approve this. And the reason was why it is not easy, because what we are talking about, suddenly closing something which has been closed for a very long time by different banks. So yeah, it was something which was very, very difficult. When we said, can we do on our own, or we need to take a support from someone, it was open for both the side. That finally what we have decided that we have selected two companies in UK who already have infrastructure, who already have some of the work done. And what we have done, that we are using CFS zip license number and everything, which will be revealed in the presentation, which I have in front of me, and PaySafe Group, which is one of the biggest card processor and card acquirer, not only in the Europe but around the world. And what they have done is that together with, because when we are talking about launching different services, it's not just about having one license and two license, it required different pieces to come together. And that's where we were like, okay, we can start, let's start working with these companies and build our infrastructure, generate more and more cash, because now we have this access to build our own proprietary system. And that's how we are going live in UK and Europe. We have not applied for, we are not going live with our own FCA license, because having our own license will just bring us more and more cost, which we decided to not have at this moment, but focus more on the cash utility, because end of the day, it's serving our purpose to create a utility of cash token. And we also understand regulator point of view that it might be too early to give access or start using our own license, because that just open more different problems. Obviously, I cannot explain all of them, but it's like kind of win-win for the market. It's a win-win for us, and it's a win-win also for the regulators, so that they can have complete oversight. So that's something about UK and Europe. We will give all the license number and everything in the presentation. Okay, wonderful, Gary. So I think the media already started picking up. We have a lot of people watching this AMA. Uh, John, we will come to these technical question. I do understand that you are excited, but let's go with the flow because I have a lot of series of announcements to make today. So we'll go in these detail that you can do cash deposits in UK or not. It will be at too particular. So this is something how we are doing in UK and Europe. We have selected two big groups. A PaySafe group, I think it's more than, both the groups are more than 20-year-old, so they have more than extensive knowledge when it comes to the banking system, and they are very happy to provide us their expertise, their data, because that's something which is a win-win, because these both the groups, like if we talk about CFS Zip, they have 20 years of experience of UK banking. If we talk about PaySafe, they are one of the biggest in UK, not second or third. They are the biggest one when it comes to card processing, and their collective experience, if they get ready to support Cashaa and allow us to build our system, that changes a lot of things. That's something which we cannot buy even after raising hundreds of millions of dollars, and that's something which makes us less very lean from the cost perspective. Fast to move in the market, because now we are not alone. We have a combined power for both these organizations. So what? Because a lot of people are asking about this license number. What I do, I just keep dropping these details in the chat so that media and anyone watching this AMA can pick up. So these, and in UK, we are launching these products together on Cashaa banking platform for both businesses. And the first time I'm saying also for personal use. So now it's not only for the businesses now, because we have our own platform, which is proprietary, built by us, everything, and it's we can also start giving it to the personal users. So that's more or less about the UK and European South, that how we are enabling what products which we are bringing. Yeah, I think on the utility side, we don't have to worry about the utility, because when we talk about building our own platform, it's we don't have a limitation, which basically we are coding our own infrastructure. So when we are coding our infrastructure, definitely the cash will be used everywhere. And I'm going to go back on this topic. People, you can keep giving your questions, and I will come back on this. So moving forward with the presentation, this was something for UK and Europe. Now, let's address the biggest elephant in the room, the United States, because the United States have the combined. We are talking about more than 20 trillion economy out of 100 million. So it's world's 20% is just in one country, and having access to that country with directly with the Federal Reserve just opens a huge market for us. And to talking about this, in US, we are going live through a Colorado Charter Trust, which allows us to access the federal banking system. Now, this is more than just having a license, because once you have a license, you have to find your correspondent bank. You have to find the access to the Federal Reserve System. You have to build the platform. You have to do the network integration. But if you're able to find all of this, obviously it makes much faster to go to the market, because having a license is just, let's say, 20% of the job done. What about the other 80% which need to be done? And that's where we were like looking that how we can make this more faster. Definitely, we have to also make sure that we have a very small lean team, and we have to make sure that we create more and more value for the shareholders, for the token holders, and try to minimize expenses as much as. So keeping in this, definitely once you start working from this mindset, definitely things comes. It takes longer than expected, but it comes step by step. So with this Colorado Chartered, we're gonna go live definitely in the mainstream media with the CoinDesk or Cointelegraphs. You will have more detail about how it's actually working and everything. We have shared with the media all the detail which is required in a very long format. The press release is more than 2-3 pages, so you're gonna get more detail. I'm just giving here the glimpse. Also, it's not just the chartered trust, which is just can do access to the Federal Reserve banking and been there. What it also have a correspondent banking relation, and that's why JP Morgan Chase will be the correspondent bank, which means all the money which will move through the depositor or the accounts which we open through Cashaa is will move through the JP Morgan every time it goes in and out of the United States. Products which we are launching in the United States are definitely the US dollar accounts and the FX services, because United States also account for one of the biggest immigrants worldwide, and definitely FX service makes a lot interesting for all those migrant workers to start working and is using cash, and not only the crypto company. So these are more on the regulatory side, how we are enabling our product and what are the how we are going actually live. Now let's going on the launch dates. This is a table, so this would be more easier to share. What I would just say, maybe I ask team or someone to upload it on the drive and share the link on the okay. So I have asked Yanina to just upload this on the drive, the presentation, and so everyone on this AMA can open those slides and access. So maybe we can just wait for the Yanina to complete this step. Okay, meanwhile, I just take some questions. FX would be huge. Now this is a biggest news. Yeah, definitely, because when we talk about United States, it's the country with one of the highest, the biggest economy. It's also the country with the maximum number of immigrant workers sending a lot of money from United States. And when we are building definitely we started building a crypto-friendly banking platform or a crypto-friendly neobank. But the whole idea is to definitely not only serve the crypto industry, but also to open it for the worldwide. And it could be a migrant worker, it could be the residents who of the United States, it could be the local businesses in the United States or the local businesses in Europe or different markets we have. All of these things. So definitely this can this is very important. And given that we have a strong correspondent bank, because most of the time that's where the things fails in banking. If you don't have a strong correspondent, because in absence of a strong correspondent, basically you can build a bank, but the bank which cannot move its money around, which does not really make any sense. So you can have a banking license, you can have all different infrastructure, but if you don't have a strong correspondence, you are basically creating a system to have a money which maybe either you can deal in cash or you can just deal among the same bank users, and every time you have to take out cash, you have to just walk in. And that's why correspondent plays the biggest role in any banking application. So if you don't have a correspondent, for example, and that's what happens when you go and bank in Puerto Rico, you go and you bank in Caribbean, you go and bank in small countries where you have these small banks which are not very powerful in the banking system. And what happens that the moment they start moving little money, their correspondent just raise their hand and say, you know what, we are not supporting you. And when this happens, the bank really does not make any sense because now the money cannot move there. So when we were selecting this chartered, and we were not only looking to that, because definitely every chartered, if they had a clean business, they must have an account with the Federal Reserve System, with one of the central banks, one of the Feds in US. It could be, like for example, in our case, it's the Kansas City Federal Reserve System. So you will have one of this, but that will only give you access to the deposit accounts. Now, when you want to move this money, definitely you need if you want to move this money within the country, you can use the ACH or Fed wire, which is controlled by Fed. But when you want to move this money outside the country, you need someone, the bridge here. And that's, in our case, is the JP Morgan. I will pass this. So I will take this question, the Indian market. We will do a separate AMA. Today, the topic is very focused. The topic is the Cashaa global banking, and we're going to stick to that. But I take the note in case we have some time left, which I don't think we're going to have it, because I have a lot of announcement to make, and I'm still at number one. And maybe we already talked about FX, we talked about correspondent banking, but there are still more things which I have to talk. So there's a question to John, because it's like a small question which he asked: who will be opening our Euro bank account, Cashaa or Zip? Zan, once we will launch our proprietary banking system, all the accounts will be opened by Cashaa. You will log into Cashaa. We will control everything for you. You don't for us, Zip or any other of the partner, you're never gonna see them, because all they are doing is that providing their license and the regulatory oversight because of their huge experience on us. But all the operations will be managed by us. Let me check with Yanina if she have already done it. Yes. Okay, we have here. Let me share it. Okay. Copy. Okay, guys, here we go. Have it. Let's not move forward before I go to the next slide. I trust you guys. And if you do, don't spoil. Kalia, esports, definitely. I will take all these small questions, but just because now I read you, Kumar, so small question: can we open bank account in UK from any country without physically present there? Yes, the answer is yes. You can open a UK current account without being physically present there, and that's where it's definitely requires a lot of steps. And being a neobank, that's where we had to do the most of the innovation. So, guys, now I have done the. But just to complete your answer, Kalia, it also requires we have to see from which country you are applying. When we do onboarding online, we have to go through multiple checks. We have to not only check about you, we also have to check the country you are, what kind of corruption perception index of that country is. For example, we have a rules that if the corruption perception index is less than 50, which means a country is scored is, let's say, in a layman term, if half of the country is corrupt, it might not very wise for open online account for that the residents from that country. You can learn more about corruption perception index on internet, and you know, you can. But definitely, it's something. I'm not saying it's no. If you can prove everything is good, there is no money laundering happening. Even if we are giving account to you online, all of these things are. Kumar and I said, let's not spoil anything. Just keep to yourself. So let's guys, because now I have shared the slide. I think people will just start going on the slide. Nobody is interested to listening me. That's what I feel. So I think maybe I close this AMA. You guys have the slide, right? Okay. So let's move with the presentation. Now I'm on. Third slide, where we have the launch dates. We have mentioned specifically how the launch will work, because now we are not talking about the quarters or the years of going to the launch. We are talking about days, a specific date. We are talking about a range of date, because it's not when we are talking about Cashaa, we are talking about something which is making VR live today. Before we make live, we have today 214 businesses who are indirectly using us from over a year now. And definitely first thing which we have to do is to move them from the platform which they are using. Definitely maybe a lot of people were here who had the complaint, oh, we needed an account where we can also have a Bitcoin, but now in this NMS account or this Zip account, I can only do my regular UK banking like Barclays. I want both of this one in the one place. Definitely that's good. It's called Cashaa. That's not called Barclays or HSBC. So we have to onboard you on our platform to have all of these services even as a business. So as a first target, what we have kept that starting from tomorrow till 30th of November, we are started doing all the compliance work, because we have to redo the compliance now by ourselves, because it's us who are taking all the risk and doing all the job. So we have to redo the compliance. Definitely, we don't want to. We have all the documents of these companies, so you don't have to give us anything. We have all your data. But this is till 30th of November, we will be start migrating in the batches of 5 to 7 companies. And from 2nd of November, we will start giving them access so that they can start using it. This is something which we have to do first, because doing this will also help us to test our platform, test everything which is online, and then by this time, which is happening on 23rd of November, all the cash utilities on this platform will go live. So the second date, important date for the community, is 23rd of November, when the cash is exactly start utilizing in the system as it was described in the white paper. We will go in the utility, what are the different utilities. Then on 30th of November, we will start onboarding the businesses or anyone who is interested in UK or European accounts as an individual. So from 30th of November, you can start applying your account and we can start processing your application. Then we have some range of dates, definitely, because it's too far to just give the specific date. Between 20th and 30th of December, the same application will also incorporate the US banking integration. I want to make it a little more clear here that, again, the US banking is not something which is doubtful just because it's in December. Why? Because we are already testing and we have given accounts to some of the key companies in this space who are actually already using our banking system, also for the US side. And they are the huge name. Just because Nexo is one of our most lovely customer, they are also have taken the US account from us. So they have already started using it in our beta version, which is hosted on a separate platform. And because the US side is a little bit more complicated than the UK side, so we decided to do it in a 2 phase. One, build and develop everything on the complete separate platform. Let everyone test, use, see what kind of bugs are coming, everything. And then once the APIs and everything is fully ready and as per the high standard, then we're going to incorporate in Cashaa.com, and then and the customers can use the same username which they are using on the other platform directly on Cashaa.com to start the banking. And that's why the dates are a little variable here, because it will happen in a step-by-step way. Between the same time, we have already applied for the SOC2 audits. You can read on internet what is SOC2 audits. Just to explain in a very layman term, I think in a crypto space, not many companies hold SOC2 certification. If I remember correctly, Coinbase have it, BitGo have it, Kraken. These are some of the names which I know have a SOC2 audit and certification done. Most of these companies who are based in US, they have this. This is one of the highest level of certifications you can get if you are running an IT management, IT system, or any kind of complicated system. Because on 20 or 30, we will complete also the US integration, and then only auditors can complete their audit process and give us the certificate. So we are aiming that certificate also we will get between the 20th or 30th. We have already applied it. So this is not, again, something which is on a pipeline or we have to do it. It's already done. We have paid the fees. Everything is just there. They started working on a step-by-step because it's also going to take a few months for them to complete it. And they have to come up with, if they find any loopholes, if they find something which is missing there, if they find some practices need to be improved, we have to improve that before they will issue the certificates. We have already received all the feedback from them. So the team is already started working on it. So we don't see that any major delay in that. It's now just we have to make the US banking live so that they can certify the whole system. And then 15th to 30th of January, we will have the foreign exchange in all major currencies going live. So this is something all about the banking system, which is covering the UK, Europe, and United States. Now let's go to the the cash utility, because that's what something is a very pressing issue for all of us, and that's where we had to work a lot. And what we have done is that definitely today you can we all know the cash is the utility token. As a utility token, first thing which you have to do is to being utilized on the platform in every possible way. And as a banking system, where we can utilize it, definitely we can utilize in local transfers. When you do a local transfer, in faster payment, in SEPA, in ACH, all of these fees and all of these transactions can be also be done using cash. And that's where the local transfer fees will be paid all in cash tokens. International transfer, when we talk about Fedwire, we talk about Swift, there also the fees could be paid in the international in the cash tokens. Foreign exchange fees. Now, foreign exchange is a huge piece. And when we talk about foreign exchange, which means we are talking about USD to INR, USD to Canadian dollar, USD to GBP, and different currencies. That's where also the cash can be utilized to pay the fees. And then fourth, which is we all are very known and obvious because most of the exchanges and companies are doing it, is that every time you do a trading or you do an exchange on their platform, they give you can do it also on their own native token to get cheaper services. So that's point 4, crypto conversion and exchange fee. And definitely the fifth, which is live from day one, was the onboarding and EDD fee for the businesses. I want to make sure there is no fee for the EDD and onboarding for the personal users. If you hold the cash token, everything is free there for you. There is one-time staking which will be required. One-time staking which is required, and that's all. So this EDD and onboarding fees is only for the businesses. Now, spending. The second is you can use the cash token to spend. And where the cash token you can spend in 2 different ways. You can utilize the cash tokens in more than 2,000 plus outlets, and that's something which includes the biggest brand in the world to take their products and services. And second is definitely spending it through Visa, MasterCard, Union Pay, and RuPay. Why RuPay is there? Because we also have Indian ties and Indian customers, and definitely they hold a lot of cash tokens. So we had to make this as one of the preference that, if someone want to spend also in INR, they can do it. And RuPay is the network which is built by the Indian government to issue cards, which works within the India. So these are the 4 different platforms, 4 different networks where you can also use the cash token to convert and spend as your preference. So spending side also to all the brands, if you are interested directly in a product, if you want to spend it on your own platform, which is not supported by us, or something which you want to do by your own, or you want to take cash, you use Master, Visa, Union Pay, or a RuPay network. So that's something more for the cash utility. Obviously, we're going to create more and more utility, but definitely we're going to talk about more and more utility once we have it. I think it will be too early to just talk about 100 different utilities until we are not sure that how to implement this. So we're going to talk only about those utility which is proven, which is tested, and which we can release in coming months. And that's why I was always focused on the product side, because once you have a stronger product, once you have a strong compliance system, all these things will come, which will create the utility of a cash token. Now, if you see a utility of a cash token, even if we not talk about business banking, we not talk about banking, we just talk about just the token utility, you can just see how many different ways it have much more ways to spend. And much more things where you can actually take advantage. So that's something more on the cash utility side. Now, the last thing of this announcement, which we're going to also talk more in detail in next 20 days, is that because we have completed the stage 1 of the banking system, we did our ICO long back. We have seen a lot of ups and downs. We have seen the entire bear market of 2 years. After raising money on $18,000, $17,000 a Bitcoin, we have seen a lot of a downfall in the overall cryptocurrency space, from $1 trillion market cap to $100 billion. We went through all of this. Definitely, we had to do a lot of cost cutting. We have to be very, very focused on what we want to do. We cut all these expenses so that we can stay on focus and pass this bear market. And luckily we did that without having a dent on our system. We had not compromised on any of the product which we plan to build. We keep delivering on it. We delivered more than what we're supposed to build as the opportunity came, and the opportunity keep coming because we stick to the market. We follow the right rules. We went to the regulator every time when it was required. And that's what was happening. And now today we have this. I think it's very natural that after the banking platform, the next thing which we have to build as a financial institution is the lending and borrowing. And what could be the better way that making lending and borrowing more on a decentralized finance system instead of just the regular lending license? Because I think lending business is gonna in next 2 years will be completely disrupted. We will have decentralized finance, which is not blocked by anyone. It's something which is open for anywhere in the world to borrow, to lend. It does not see any caste, color, creed, borders, anything when the lending and borrowing is happening. And I think that's going to disrupt the whole lending and borrowing business. Now, if we have this lending and borrowing business, definitely we can play a very crucial role. And why we can do that? Because other than any decentralized finance protocol which is building any lending protocol, what they lack is that how they're going to connect this for the average user. Yes, you can lend Bitcoin or you can borrow your Bitcoin or USDT and you have a USDT or a stable coin, but end of the day, you're going to spend this. You're going to spend this if you are lending. Currently, mostly the $11 billion which lending is happening, what they are happening more or less for, trading system. They are not actually happening a lending. This 11 billion is not happening lending for someone who have to repair a house, someone who have to buy a new car, someone who have to marry, someone who have to buy the land. They are not doing for this purpose. And the reason is that this entire decentralized finance is very disconnected for 122 trillion economy which we have. It's built very focused only for the crypto industry. And now because we have solved the biggest piece, which is banking, which connects, I think the DeFi protocol which we are building will have this inherent property that you can go from crypto and the money can directly lend. If you are a lender, you can lend it to someone who want to spend it to maybe buy a new car. That suddenly increases the whole market size for the decentralized finance. And not to mention that with 2,000 plus brand where you can now also spend convert cash tokens and spend there, we can build the consumer loans with almost no interest. So for example, let's take an Amazon. I'm only taking the examples where you can actually use it. So these are not just the example to take the names, but the examples where you can actually go and do it. So let's take an example for Amazon or Apple. And if you want to buy an Apple phone and you can have a loan, which you can directly spend to buy a smartphone, to buy whatever product you want on your favorite e-commerce, go and do some shopping. That's a huge whole new space of consumer loans. And 2,000 plus brands, when we talk about this, almost covers every big and small brand which is there in the world, even because there are a lot of Indian audience are here just for their convenience. Flipkart, Amazon India, Myntra. So these are some of the names which I remember top of the head. Definitely we're going to give you the whole list of brands so you can just Google and you can see if you can do it. So that's going to open Cashaa DeFi for the whole consumer loans. Now, the second, we are not trying to be someone. I was reading somewhere on some comment, someone said that, are we going to fork Compound, or are we going to fork Aave, or are we going to fork a Yearn Finance to build our lending and borrowing system? And the answer is no. We are not doing what any of these platforms are doing. So what actually we are doing is that we are building the system which is more on the liquidity aggregation. So what's going to happen is that when a lender is coming, Yearn Finance is pulling their liquidity into the Cashaa system. Aave is putting their liquidity into the Cashaa system. Compound is putting their liquidity, and our system is just finding where we can have the highest APYs for the lender and just take the liquidity from that pool. Because there is no need to just create these things, which some of these amazing protocols have already done it. It's better to use that liquidity and solve the problem which is required to create utility for the guy. And this on-ramp and off-ramp from all these liquidity providers which we have today, and this market which is already there, will give another huge exposure to the cash token, because every time the money is getting converted, it's getting an exchange. All those 4 utilities where you pay for your service, the cash token is coming into the picture. We're going to do a complete AMA on Cashaa DeFi on 5th November 2020. There you can ask more questions, not ask me more questions right now. Let's save the date for that. And today you can ask more questions about the banking system. Any confusion you have, what kind of things we support, all those questions you can ask today. And then on 5th of November, I will come again. By the time we will have already our systems on the banking side live. And then we're going to talk only about DeFi. I will give you more details about how it's going to happen and everything. And we're going to just talk more in detail about decentralized finance. So that's all on my side. Now, let's start the Q&As. So when will the iOS and Android apps will come live? Very good questions. Guys, if you're asking the question, I will say do it slowly, because what's going to happen if you ask a lot of questions, your question might go up. So if I'm answering some of the questions, please have a patience. Many Hazrat. I think many you are from Turkey, right? Okay. Oh, sorry, Israel. Okay, so the question is that when iOS and Android app will go live. Android and iOS, both apps will go live as soon as we finish all the major integration with our cash system, So I think the date was that the FX services will go live in January somewhere. So iOS app or Android app is not a very difficult product once you have an API and everything is working. So we can give, let's say, another 7 to 8 weeks for the app to go live. So by March, we will have also the app for iOS and as well as Android for personal, as well as also limited functions for the businesses. Second question, new exchange soon for cash. So Carlos, this is what I was discussing in a very first when I was starting. That exchange listing is, and just having an exchange listing is not going to solve the problem until we have a product which is used, the product where we have a liquidity, the product which is required by the consumer. Because if we are following that natural progression, which is followed by many projects, we talk about Dash, we talk about Ethereum, we talk about Ripple. The question was never there when the exchange will come, because definitely the exchange is going to list with whatever token which is in the utility, whatever token which is required by their own community. It's not something which definitely makes sense that as a company we start investing in exchange listing just because having exchange listing is just going to give us a lot of exposure. But a lot of exposure for what if there is no product live? So definitely we have followed this, and I have said this again and again, that having a natural progression path is much more useful. And I have no shame in admitting also that, see, we are not a cash-rich company, or we were not a company which want to have a lot of pump and dump and happy to pay millions of dollars to exchanges. Like even with the partners discount, some of the exchanges, their cost goes up to 100 Bitcoin. I'm talking about top 5. So and this is something which is not I think personally me or my board make any sense, because it's like, for example, a few days ago we had a sushi swap listed on all the top major exchanges. What happened after that? So it's the exchanges are, I do have to admit, are still not seen in a very good light when it comes to the regulator, because all of these pumps and dumps and all these schemes which runs on these exchanges. So as a banking application working very closely, I would let the community to go through that path And we keep building and delivering the products. And definitely right now we have a huge DeFi community, which we want to leverage and bring them into our own Cashaa community. And that's why instead of building our own protocol, we said, why not we build and take liquidity from all those protocols? Because then we have a community support from these DeFi protocols. They are users of these DeFi protocols to have our own utility and the system in place. And I think I would like to take my chances to go through that route, which every successful project have taken, be it Dash, be it Ethereum, be it Ripple, or be it anyone, where the utility was much proven and it's keep building. Then first spending millions of dollars on listing, and then think what we can do with this token. So next question is there is no transparency. Okay, yeah, this is not a question. This is more a comment on the existing banking system. Yeah, definitely there is no transparency in the existing banking system, especially when you are in India. No, there is not. Thousands and thousands of crores have been sent and lended to people who just left the country, and at the end of the day, customers have to pay. The Indian taxpayer had to pay for that. So the next question is, so the question, will the cash token be needed in the way that will drive up the demand of the token itself? What way will be the demand created? US. So Buddy, I think you missed the last two slides. We have shared the slide. If you go through the slide, it explains exactly in what way the cash tokens will create the utility. And you can compare it with the existing tokens, or let's say the exchange tokens you have, or the other financial tokens you have, and you can see what are the utilities which we are providing versus the other one instead of renaming, and you can definitely find a lot of value in the cash token by yourself. So till where I answered, can you deposit? Oh, can you deposit Okay, it's gone. I think the question was, can you deposit UK cash? No, I missed the name. The gentleman who asked the question. Currently, we don't have any plan to start taking cash deposit. And the reason why, it's not something which we cannot do from the infrastructure point of view. But I would take this more on the challenge which will come on Cashaa and the team itself. From the cash handling, because the moment we start accepting cash handling through different locations in UK, it will just make our life much more miserable. And I think we're definitely able to create value for some segment of the society, but we're gonna maybe buried under so many different work because of this one function that a lot of different, the major portion of the society which can take help or whom we can serve, we will not able to do that. So something which this is not we're going to do at least for next 12 months. We don't know. Maybe we can do just a partnership who's going to take all of this responsibility from us and help with that part. Definitely we will be open to do that. So this is one of the very good question which Brambos have. How many staff does have to realize all the current and future projects you speak about? So Bambros, let's break this question in two parts. How for the current side, for the entire banking side, we have enough staff working from last 2 years, and we have finally released it. We are not talking about any more speculation in the market. We are talking about date. We are talking about moving our 200 business companies who are right now banking, using our partners platform to move on our own platform. So this is not a speculation, and we have enough staff currently to realize all the utilities which is required for the banking. Definitely, in November, we have already issued the joining letters for 5 to 6 more relationship managers, because once we are going live and we will start onboarding new businesses other than the existing one which we have, we're going to need more customer support and relationship managers. So definitely we are hiring a lot of relationship managers around the Europe, in UK, in US, in Canada. So if you are interested as a relationship managers to help businesses, crypto companies, give them a personalized experience for the Cashaa banking system, I request you to apply and work with us to help to achieve a dream of a better bank. So next question is, Personal banking, what will be the stake to open personal bank account to receive bank card? So Krish Cockburn, I do understand your question, but I'm just trying to explain it because you have mentioned it very clearly, open personal account to receive bank card. Now, I think this is something why we have started asking these kind of questions is the reason why, because we have a card products uh, issued by Wirex with Swipe or Crypto.com and some of the major player. In fact, we are enabling many different companies to issue their card products also, because that's one of our business, how we generate revenue. So when we talk about, so if you notice all these cards, they have a limit of $10,000. You can spend up to, you can deposit and you can spend up to $10,000 or something. But the personal bank account, when we are saying a personal bank account, you are not opening personal bank account to only receive the card. It's also giving you all the banking services which were there. And it does not have any limit. In a personal bank account, you can deposit millions of dollars and you can have a debit card which you can use to spend. Currently, the data which is there publicly available for everyone, it's required 100,000 cash token to stake. It's not a fee, it's something which you stake, and you can keep it a stake as long as you want to use our services. The day you think that, okay, I don't need this card, I want to surrender it, you just take your stake back, and your services will stop working. So that's maybe explain how it is different from all the existing cards, because all the existing cards in the market is actually issued by one company currently. So if you have one of these cards, you can go and see the name of the company who have issued all of these cards, be it Swipe, be it Wirex, be it ABC, be it XYZ, all are issued through the one EMI in UK. And so the limitations which which one card will have, all the cards will have the same limitation. But we are not launching a card product linked with your wallet, but we are launching a banking system which does not have any limit on the deposit and withdrawal, and card is just the link to that account, so you can spend as much as you have in that account. All this stake token used to open account with Cashaa Stay. So the next question which Mahesh have, as stake token used to open account with Cashaa Stay till we use banking service or just a limited time? Till you are using the banking services. Are we going to have insurance for the Cashaa customers in case of any hack, etc.? Yeah, definitely. There are insurance there are different things. First, we are talking about cryptocurrency, and we also talking about national currency. So the national currencies, in case all the deposits, they are actually sitting in a master account. If it's UK and Europe, it's sitting with Bank of England, and if it is US dollar, it's sitting with the master account with the Federal Reserve Kansas City. So we can discount the fact of hack or something, and that's where we were taking the SOC2 Type 2 certification to make sure that everything has been done in a very best way at a very industrial grade, because we are talking about an industry level platform to bank all these business customers who will have, like some of the customers today and the likes of Nexo, they are keeping millions of dollars in their bank account, millions of dollars of pounds there. So the security become evidently very much important. On the crypto side, we are looking for what are kind of different insurance things which we can have. So far, we have found, and also on the regulated side, the thing which we have is that instead of having any hot wallet, it's best to not have any hot wallet, because the hacking and the case of hacking comes if you have a hot wallet. Instead of that, we are doing something more as we will have everything on the cold wallet. Nothing will be left on the hot wallet, and withdrawals will happen once a day through the manual process, so that there is no chance or no room of hacking in the system. We are not an exchange where we have to give 24/7 withdrawals when it comes to crypto. Even today, we don't do that. We do. Actually, today also we don't have any hot wallet, and that's why there is no compromise which can happen on the Cashaa system itself. Yeah, definitely, an individual and anyone can get hacked. But when it comes on the company, because we don't have any hot wallet, there is nothing to actually hack about. Following, let's take, okay. Any chance in future will go IPO ignoring ICO investor? So Kumaran, going to IPO does not mean you ignore the ICO. This is two very different things. There is a IPO model which was working from ages as on a company shares, and then you have ICO where the utility is derived from the demand and supply. These are two complete different models. I don't think, this is maybe too early for me to comment. Going an IPO, I don't know when will do or will not do. There are many successful companies, big companies, which we have, does not require an IPO. We can still remain as a private company and run a system. But if it is required to go, I don't think that's going to affect any way our ICO holders. So any other question based on the last two slides? Apple and Amazon already approved vendor that will accept cash. Yeah, so obviously we're going to talk about the last slide on 5th of November. But not only Apple and Amazon, but there will be more vendors where you can spend cash. Definitely we have to build all these bridges, and that's going to be a lot of work, and that's why we have taken a little extra time. We have all the APIs from these companies to start building and working on the system. And you can do everything basically online. So because we're going to also utilize the same API for the decentralized finance. For example, if you need to buy something from Apple on Amazon and you want to get it financed on an interest-free loan, we're going to need use the same API. So the team is working on that. This is we're going to release the full list, I think, in November. I will try to see if we can release the complete list on 5th or maybe on 6th of November after the AMA session. So that's will Singapore citizen will able to create a Cashaa personal account? I'm sure about businesses so far, because we have hundreds of businesses who have applied for Singapore, and a lot of big businesses who are based in Singapore, they have an account with us. I have to check with the compliance before I give you the sure answer. For Singapore, for businesses, I'm 100% sure, because we have, for example, we have a Coin DCX, which is based in Singapore. Uno Coin, which is based in Singapore. All these companies, they are based in Singapore and they are our customers. So I'm 100% sure about the business. Personal, I think it will be there. I don't see any big problem of not having a personal account for the Singapore citizens. But I'm not sure, and I'm not a compliance person. And so I want to keep this as a question mark. But there is a high probability that you would have it. I'm in Australia. Will I able to use Cashaa? Again, the same question, the answer which I give Big Skiddy for the Singapore applies on Australia. We do have some companies right now banking with us from Australia. You have a big ATM company there. I don't remember the name, from Australia, who is using the US dollar account and GBP account. So it's the same applies also for the personal users, but definitely the details will be given once we go more closer. So guys, I think we have discussed, and we already, oh my God, we already finished more than 1 hour. Like, I'm never able to finish this in 1 hour. I'm told many times to keep it short, but I hope that I'm able to answer all the questions which you guys had, remove any kind of FUD which was there in the system. That's Cashaa is not a dream anymore. This is a product which is going live, and going live with a year of expertise and the work which we have already done. It's not we are going live on the first time and we're going to test and see that how things works. Having and managing 200 companies, not a personal account, 200 companies coming from different part of the world, from Australia, from Singapore, from US, from UK, and seeing their onboarding journey and convincing them to use someone else until we can build our one was a huge job just for ourselves. I remember people were very frustrated why it's taking to have 5 companies you onboarded in the last month. Because sometimes it becomes really very difficult to convince a company that, why we have to do all of this thing and then you are using. So definitely we have seen a lot of ups and downs before we can come here and release an application. So it took us a lot of time, and I thanks all of you who kept a lot of patience and supported us with something. Definitely we were gonna need more of your support. Because now I think it's the journey which is going to be start, but definitely I'm very optimistic with the solution, the kind of feedbacks which we have got with our existing 200 companies. I think we have not had, I would say just in a percentage term, we had less than 2% company who had dropped out using our solution in last 12 months. That says a lot of things in it ourselves. And also those 2% companies have been got some time riddled by our banking partner, or was like, okay, so all of these things would have happened, but still 2% is a great number. Most of these companies, they are still in touch, they talk with us, and they are waiting for us to release and move them as soon as possible. And just a little blooper, if there are businesses here, also our pricing will be very, very, very much cheaper and economical than all the solution which is currently present in the market. So it's not that only our services which will prevail, but also our pricing and the cost structure will prevail for the adoption of this product. It's not a product where you are charging double the other competitors and then saying why we don't have the adoption coming, but it's the product which is cheaper than every other product in the market. And that explains itself that why the adoption will happen. So with this note, I thank you. How many we have? Currently 78 people live here. With all this, I conclude today's AMA here and see you again with the complete detail about our decentralized finance system and much more utility which we can build together, and we can build the next next system for the banking and improve, create a new and better financial system. Thank you so much.